Our journey takes us to Malawi, to a small impoverished country in the south-central region of Africa. A country managing crisis. A country besieged by poverty, famine, disease and strife. In Malawi, every day, 300 men, women and children are infected with the HIV/AIDS virus. Every day, 240 people will die of diseases. Millions are starving, just surviving with inadequate nutrition, with the average lifespan of 37.5 years of age. Every day, 190 children become orphans. Over 1 million orphans live precarious lives, abandoned to live in anguish, loneliness and pain. And yet, while the effects are physical, the cause is not. With a desire to make a difference, the Kabbalah Center visited Malawi to learn more about the severe problems facing these 12 million people. Speaking with leaders, experts, community groups, mothers and children. There was a key connection made with one of Africa's most important outreach groups, NOVOC, the network of organizations for vulnerable and orphaned children. With the help of NOVOC, the Kabbalah Center will provide direct assistance to needy orphans, beginning with 7 community-based organizations and orphan care centers. To learn firsthand how our assistance will really impact these children, we visited 3 of these organizations.
We've been in Malawi for going on 14 years now, and now it's grown to 6 daycare centers caring for more than 1,800 orphans. I asked the question before I started, what happens to the infants? And every single person answered, they usually perish. One of the happiest stories is a baby that was found in a basket by the river. And he was taken to the police by the women who found him. He was a healthy newborn baby boy. And of course the police named him Moses, being found by the river in a basket. It takes about $4,000 US a month for us to care for 30 infants. And that's everything. That's their medical care, that's salaries for the mothers. So those are our ongoing costs. We want to provide care for the crisis period in an infant's life. So that is really the time when they're dependent on milk. And they will come usually due to the absence of the mother, whether it's by death or mental illness or abandonment. If it weren't for the help of individual donors, the ministry wouldn't exist at all, and the babies would continue to perish.
My name is Teresa Malila. I'm the director for Somebody Cares, which is a ministry, faith-based organization. Right now we are in Ngona. It is a slum area, but it's right in the city. It's what we call peri-urban, and the city does not own it, and the rural don't own it. So they are in between, and they're caught in the middle, and they've got no support, either from the city or from the rural areas. What's happened is that in most cases where we work, most of the parents have died and the children are left behind. So children are basically staying either on their own or with a relative or with just people who care for them or through the churches who support them. That's why there's so much abuse of children, defilement of children happening, because they're just left to wander around. Here is where you get cholera throughout the year, you get malaria throughout the year, and every kind of illness, you can find it in this place, whether it's pneumonia, TB, you get it here. Even toilet facilities, sometimes they all share the toilet facility, so that if there's an infection here, the whole group gets the infection. It's a terrible hardship, but they now accepted this kind of life. This is Mrs. Chanza. Her husband was one of our patients, and he passed on last month. He was one of our patients. He had HIV/AIDS, and she is also infected, and so are the children. She basically is still breastfeeding this child and giving him food, so that's where the problem was, because she was supposed to stop breastfeeding him at the age of 6 months, but she continued because she had no source of income, and her milk was the only thing she could feed the child with. We are basically the only people that are in this area right now, providing medical care, and now we are working on a nutritional program. But it's difficult to tell people these are the basic food groups you should eat when they cannot even afford a meal a day.
We usually come almost every day. On this program, we feed them porridge with groundnut flour. We add sugar and salt. This is how we are preparing the nsima for the children.
The key area is the food itself. But what's missing from that feeding program a lot of the time is the nutrition. And so beans are required and additional high nutrient foods like soya, meat. That is not normally in a child's diet. And all of these areas are not being focused on because the funding is just not available.
Once a day when they come in the afternoon, as we usually know that in their homes they don't have enough food for the daily living. There are some who cannot have food for lunch. They can get the food here.
So this is a typical feeding day at Consul Homes. 120 children from outlying areas, as far as away of 5 or 6 kilometers, come daily and walk here. Some of them are very, very small. It's a truly wonderful effort in very limited facilities.
This amount of food which is cooked will be shared to 120 children. But sometimes it cannot be enough for the children.
Anything that they have is coming from within the community. And obviously they too have dependence from this AIDS virus at a home level that's making it very difficult for them to survive.
In the first year alone, 32,000 children will receive direct support from the Kabbalah Center Charitable Foundation and Spirituality for Kids. Food, clothing, medical care, child advocacy, and money to pay for basic education, which is not free in Malawi. These are crucial physical needs. Yet, Kabbalah believes that to make a real difference, we must empower children by teaching them skills of independence, and that change can only occur from within. Through Spirituality for Kids, we have identified and will hire several Malawian teachers who will come to the United States for an intensive training in the SFK curriculum.
When you see a child that has absolutely nothing, you begin to realize that the most important sacred part about life today is the children, is the future. They're the future leaders, Malawi's leaders, and the future parents. And how can they be leaders and parents if they themselves have not been given the opportunity of what it is to be feel like they're loved and cared for? So this is an incredible opportunity. May I just say how wonderful I feel and the people feel. Sorry. What this incredible donation will do for these children, and God bless anybody out there who's really willing to put heart and soul into this. My thanks to all of you for making this possible.
This is a journey we must take to transform a nation of vulnerable children, to empower orphans to live a different reality than their parents, to nourish the body and build hope for the future so the children of Malawi see a world beyond the village.